So I think a lot of people, actually I know a lot of people, feel really pressured to have sex for a variety of reasons from a variety of different partners and situations. The pressure's on. And I think a lot of times people expect to have sex. I think especially men think in some ways that they're entitled to sex. And I think there's a lot of really fucked up dialogue about how, like, if a man pays for dinner, the woman kind of owes him sex, that you should be having sex after a certain point in your relationship, that if you're sexually involved but not having a certain type of sex, that you should be having that type of sex, or that person expects you to have and to want that type of sex with them. There's just a lot of coercion and pressure, I think, that goes on, and it's really hard to navigate that when you're feeling like your negation of the pressure is going to somehow be a bad reflection on you, which somehow that's what our society says, and that, like, you're a prude, or that you're not having sex right, or all kinds of weird stuff. And that's just not true. Sex is all about you and your needs and your boundaries and your desires. And if there's something you don't want to do, if you don't want to be having sex, or you don't want to be having a certain type of sex, or sex in a certain way, then you shouldn't be having that type of sex. And no one should be making you feel bad about that. That's just a part of your own desires, and those need to be respected. Here are 5 ways that you can approach a situation in which you're feeling pressured to have sex. Also on this list are some things that you can kind of do to avoid being put in a situation where you're feeling pressured to have sex. So the first thing is to make your intentions clear. Now, you don't have to necessarily state, like, I want to have sex, or I don't want to have sex, but you can do it in really subtle ways, like asking what that person wants to do that evening, even saying something like you want to take separate cars, or that you have a big work meeting in the morning that you have to prepare for. I think you can drop little hints that kind of say that you don't want to have sex, or that sex shouldn't be expected in this situation. Not that it should ever be expected, but some people expect it. So I think just, like, making sure that you're being somewhat clear about what you want, and even if that does mean necessarily stating it outright, just saying, hey, I don't want sex to come from this, or I don't want to have sex, or whatever, saying it more blatantly. If that's what works for you, then totally do it. But I know some people kind of feel put on the spot that way, or like awkward by saying something like that. But definitely say what you need to say in the way you need to say it. I've been in this situation before, and it usually can be avoided if both people are being honest and kind of stating what they want to do and their intentions up front. The second thing is to just say that you aren't comfortable having sex. Like, if the other person, makes an advance on you, or makes a move, or asks you if you want to have sex, just say that you're not comfortable having sex. And, you can give a reason for it, or you don't have to. If the other person respects you, that they're going to respect that answer. They're not going to pressure you more or push you, and they're just going to back off and respect that you aren't comfortable or you aren't ready. Just saying, like, I'm not comfortable, I'm not ready, I don't want this, can be really empowering, making it very clear what you in this situation don't want. The third way is to just say that you're feeling pressured. Just say it outright. Say that you're feeling pressured by them to have sex, and that's not okay. It's not okay that you're feeling pressured, or that the pressure is making you very uncomfortable. And just tell them that that is what they're doing. And obviously, if they respect you and your boundaries, they're going to apologize and back off and not try to push farther. And with kind of like taking back the power, by just saying it, you're going to be releasing a lot of that tension and that anxiety that usually comes with that type of a situation. Number 4 is to state why you have sex. So let's say you meet someone at a bar and they want to go home with you, and you're interested in each other. You clearly have chemistry and a connection, but you don't really feel ready to open the door of sex yet. But they've made it clear that that's what they want, and you're maybe feeling a little bit pressured by them, and they're maybe pushing it a little bit. It could be really great to state why you have sex, or what reasons you have sex for, and what sex really looks like for you. Because if that's not the situation that you're in with that person, that I think that can make them really see where you're coming from on this, and that it's not them and it has nothing to do with them, assuming in this type of situation it wouldn't. It's just that in this particular context, or your relationship with this person as it is now, the circumstances aren't right for you to feel like you want to have sex with them. You know, if they're a decent person, they're going to respect that and understand that that's why you have sex. Maybe they'll explain why they have sex, and maybe you can build a deeper connection that way. I think just sometimes kind of putting it into context to people, because I think people a lot of times assume that everyone has sex their way, or that sex works in one certain way. And just kind of demystifying that and explaining a little bit, I think that can be really helpful and a really great way to kind of diffuse all of that tension and pressure that you might be feeling. All right, the final tip that I have is don't be afraid to say no. Don't be afraid to just outright say, no, I'm not going to do this with you, or no, I'm not going to have sex with you, or no, I don't want this, or just saying no in some capacity. That's you clearly not giving consent. And putting that boundary up and putting that wall up is really, really important, because then it should be very clear to the other person that by you saying explicitly no, that you aren't consenting and that you are not going to be having sex with them. Make them know exactly that you don't want to do this, just by saying no and by making it very clear that this isn't something that you want. So I hope this video was somewhat helpful for you. If you guys have any other tips as to how to diffuse a situation where you're feeling pressured to have sex, or how you can avoid feeling pressured to have sex, or what to do in that type of situation, I would love to hear your thoughts. I think this topic actually is a huge issue for a lot of people, because in our culture, I think sex is often like very coercive and a lot of times kind of commodified and seen as some type of like exchange, and it's just like really, really weird. So I will see you guys later. Bye.